We all have moments in life where we're faced with a choice to keep going the same way we always have, or to say yes to something new, something better. I'm Kat, and this is Say Yes with Kat, a podcast about exploring holistic health, mind, body, and soul. Together, we'll uncover the practices, stories, and insights that can help you live a more vibrant and empowered life, full color. Are you ready to say yes? Let's dive in. Hey friend, welcome back to Say Yes with Kat. Today we're getting messy in a deep way. Our episode's called The Junk Drawer in Your Chi, What Clutter Says About Your Energy. I'm going to be real with you. I once found an old French fry, like fossil level old, a dirty rock, and $20 in the same drawer. So as you can tell, we're going to have a little bit of fun with this with some personal stories, but I also want to dig into the real science behind why our environment matters more than we might think. So go ahead, crack open that junk drawer, mentally or physically. I won't judge. Let's get into it. I want to start with one of the wisest women I've ever known, my grandmother, Sabrina. She modeled for me the importance of making any space feel like home, no matter what my resources were at the time. Use what you got was one of the first life lessons that I carried with me into my own independence. Moving day, I find myself taking these empty moving boxes, taping them up into this like rectangular shape, grabbing a $2 sheet that I picked up at the thrift store, throwing it over top, and then in my full triumph going, ta-da, I made a TV stand. I was so proud of myself. Over the years, I found myself using those same thrift store sheets and a stapler to make curtains. I've been known to grab roadside flowers, put them in a painted bottle to help brighten up a dark corner. Over the years, what I've got has admittedly gotten a bit more bougie, but if you get me on an overnight camping trip, I'm still the girl that's like sweeping the ground just outside the entrance so it feels more welcoming. And when you come into my tent, it's like glamping. It's ridiculous. I just feel better when my space matches that sense of peace that I want to feel. And I know for a fact my grandmother and I are not alone in this. Have you ever heard the phrase, what you see on the outside reflects the inside? Okay, I paused for effect. This is not just a Pinterest quote with a soft beige background. This is a statement that I think has some real substance behind the idea. I got nerdy, I did some research, and from a scientific perspective, clutter has a profound impact on our mental and emotional state. There's a study at UCLA's Center on Everyday Lives of Families, and they found that cluttered homes lead to spikes in cortisol, especially in women. That high cortisol, remember, equals chronic stress. Enter Cordy the stress zombie. That edge that we feel, our house and the clutter in it might actually be adding to it. I also found neuroscientists at Princeton discovered that visual clutter is competing for our attention. It's making it harder to focus and process information. Basically, your brain's trying to work and there's a toddler banging pots in the background. Another study that I found was published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin. They said that people who just described their homes as cluttered were more likely to experience fatigue and depression than those who were describing it as restful or restorative. But don't worry, all of the studies I found were not negative. There's a 2011 study in the Journal of Neuroscience, which shows that people who cleared that clutter increased their working memory capacity. Awesome. Translation, less mess is more brain power. It like supercharges things. Speaking of supercharge, let's talk about Feng Shui for a second. If you're unfamiliar with the word, I'm going to break it down. Feng Shui is the ancient Chinese art of harmonizing your environment to support your health, your happiness, and even your prosperity. In Feng Shui, clutter blocks the qi. Qi's just another way to say your life force energy. And when the qi is blocked, our opportunities get stuck, our creativity stalls, our emotions get all tangled. It's kind of like trying to meditate in a tornado. It just doesn't work. Feng Shui also says that even that hidden clutter, like our junk drawer, it's a magnet for stagnant energy. And that drawer might be small, but symbolically, it can represent indecision, feeling overwhelmed, things we're avoiding in life. So clearing it out isn't just about cleaning, it's about creating energetic flow. Let me paint you a scene. It's early, I'm in the kitchen, and it's one of those mornings where I woke up and the wrong side of the bed launched a sneak attack before I even opened my eyes. So, anyhow, I go to grab a pen to write in my journal because that's my lifeline on a hard morning. I sit at the kitchen table, I have my decaf coffee, and I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. This practice helps me shift my energy fast, and I included a link for the journal that I use in the session notes. But back to this particular morning. I open the drawer and I lose my mind. There's old batteries, there's a Christmas ornament, expired coupons, there's this bag with sticky stuff on it. And I just think, where is my life right now? So I did it. I took a breath and I said yes to just cleaning out this drawer. Not a full home overhaul, just that one space. I started by tossing half of it in the trash. Then I wiped it out and thought to myself, how am I going to avoid this happening again? I embraced my grandmother and decided to use what I had. I started looking around the house and I found all these random little organizers. There was an old jewelry tray that was actually kind of pretty and a couple of plastic boxes. So I made them my little bins in the drawer. Now I have one for pens, one for tools, even one for those mystery cords that we still pretend belong to something. And you know what? Now, every time I open that drawer, I smile because I reclaim that little space. And every time I grab that pen to write in my grateful journal, it feels like I've already said yes to myself before I even start. So I've confessed my junk drawer drama, and I can confirm that my grandmother has not come back to haunt me for ignoring her advice. I made the drawer nice and pretty and used what I had. But what I really learned through this junk drawer drama is that it is a messy metaphor for my mind and for my chi. But there's some magic in it. You can shift it all with one drawer or maybe a shelf. It's just some small sacred corner to start. Oh, I think we just found our challenge for this episode. Create your sacred corner. Did that challenge just break you out in a sweat? It's all right. Don't worry. I've got your back. Remember, this podcast is all about empowerment. If you're going to do the one sacred challenge, you're not alone. We're going to do it right. And we're going to use some wisdom from Feng Shui to supercharge our time. Because yes, you could just shove everything in a shoebox and call it done. But why wouldn't we just turn that space into an energy booster? Let's go through a 5-step mini Feng Shui checklist. It's going to help that sacred corner and that drawer really support us instead of fighting against us. Number 1, clear the clutter. I know it feels obvious, but I'm not talking about just relocating the mess. I'm talking about releasing the clutter that isn't serving you anymore. If it's broken, if it's outdated, if it's the old fossil fry, or maybe it just has some weird vibes, let it go. Let it go. I mean, seriously. Number 2, choose your location intentionally. You could go around and do a random shelf or a random drawer, but Feng Shui says that the area around the front door, our kitchen, and our bedroom hold major energetic power. So I'm not saying do the entire rooms. I'm saying pick a drawer or a shelf in these spaces that you interact with every day, because that regular contact is going to help you build energetic momentum. Number 3 is all about inviting those 5 elements into your space. Feng Shui is trying to balance these 5 elements to help your health, to help your wellness and your prosperity. They're wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, right? I feel like there's so many songs from the 70s talking about these. We're going to be intentional. Your goal is to maybe get a little bit of all 5 of these, or just 1 or 2 that kind of speak to you in the space that you're working on. So let's go through these 5 elements, what they are, what they help you with, and some suggestions. The first one is wood. It represents growth. You could bring in a plant or maybe a wooden tray. The next one is fire. Fire represents passion, not surprising. Literally bring in something like a candle. It doesn't have to be lit all the time. Or introduce warm toned color like red and orange. Earth is for grounding. So we want to bring in a crystal or maybe a rock from a hike you had, or even a ceramic object like a pot someone made for you or one that you picked up at the local art fair. Metal is what we lean into for clarity. So you could use a shiny pen holder or even just a metal bell. And water is for flow. This is what keeps the energy moving for us. You don't have to hose the area down with water. You could just bring in a photo of a waterfall or some type of reflective water surface. Do not stress about doing all of these. Just focus on one or two that feel good to you. Okay? So let's go into step 4. This one's my favorite. Add something that makes you smile. Seriously. A sacred corner, it should lift your mood. It can be maybe a tiny piece of art that your grandson made for you, or a feather that you found on this gorgeous walk, or even a sticky note where you write down your favorite affirmation. Just something that turns the corners of the mouth up. The last one is we need to keep the chi moving. And it's really easy to do that. Just clean up and wipe this space down every now and then. Maybe light a candle, open a window nearby to refreshen the air in there. The goal is just some flow, okay? So with all of these, I don't want you to stress about perfection. Don't overthink it. Just get started by accepting this challenge for the week. One sacred corner. Pick a drawer, a shelf, a side table. I don't care if it's just a corner of your desk. Declutter it, wipe it down, maybe bless it with a little plant or a candle, something that makes you smile, and give that chi a clean runway. No more clutter, no more stagnation. Now, I know you're going to be tempted to say this. I already know. Here it comes. But the rest of my house is a disaster. That's not an excuse. It's not. Just remember one small thing. Shifting one energy block will ripple into everything else. You're not cleaning a drawer, you're reclaiming a corner of your life. So that's my episode, my friends. What does your junk drawer say about your energy? And what would it look like to say yes to clearing one tiny space just to see what shifts? I'd love to hear from you. Check the show notes for links to the socials. Let me know if you take the One Sacred Corner challenge or what you think of the journal. Before you leave, please share the wealth of health by liking and subscribing to our channel. And remember, this is your journey. It's all about taking these small, meaningful steps towards a healthier, happier you. Full color. Until next time, say yes to your well-being and take care. The content of this podcast is for educational, informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Please consult a licensed healthcare provider before beginning any new health practice. Do not ignore or delay seeking medical advice because of something shared in this episode. If you're experiencing a medical emergency, call 911 or visit your nearest emergency room. Listening does not create a practitioner-client relationship. Yes to Holistic Health makes no guarantees regarding outcomes based on the information provided. Copyright notice, Yes to Holistic Health, all rights reserved. This content may be shared for nonprofit educational purposes with credit to Yes to Holistic Health. No commercial use without written permission.